Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Village. And this movie came out in 2004, and it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and it stars Bryce Dallas Howard, Joaquin Phoenix, Adrian Brody, Sigourney Weaver, Brendan Gleeson, and Jesse Eisenberg is in it too, William Hurt as well. And I've never seen this movie before, and I've always heard mixed things about this movie. Like, some people really loved it, some people hated it, others in the middle. And I, personally, someone who's never seen this movie before, but has always heard about it, and I knew certain things going into it, I still liked the movie. I have plenty of issues with the movie, but I liked it overall. I do think that there are more positives in this film than negatives. For one thing, I think the music is great in the film and really complements each scene that it's in and is always used appropriately. And I believe the music for this movie was nominated for an Oscar. Fun little fact. And the movie was pretty well shot for the most part. And the cinematography was by Roger Deakins. And in case you don't know, he's done movies like The Shawshank Redemption. He's done 1917. He's done pretty much every Denis Villeneuve film from Prisoners, I believe, up until Blade Runner 2049, except for Arrival. And the other ones being Enemy and Sicario. I believe he did both of those movies. And this movie has a great cast. The acting's pretty great for the most part. I didn't really have much of an issue with the performances in this movie. And the film is very well made, and the story has some elements that I do like about it, and I liked the romance between Bryce Dallas Howard and Joaquin Phoenix. Like, those two characters, when it was their romance on screen, that's when the movie really worked for me. And all in all, I enjoyed the first half of the movie better than the second half of the movie. Mostly because that's where those scenes that I really liked between our two main leads, that's when we get the most of that, and in the second half, it's not really in the movie all that much for reasons that I can't get into, because that gets into spoilers. But that stuff I enjoyed the most from this movie. Once we get into the second half, it's still decent and watchable. It never gets to the point where it's like, oh, this aged poorly, and it was, like, terrible. And when I say aged poorly, I don't mean, like, oh, it was bad from the start and just, like, poor concept, what were you doing? I mean more like, oh, something that was done that was acceptable for the time, but didn't age very well in today's standards. Like, this would be something that would be laughed at and just absolutely destroyed if this exact thing came out today. For the most part, except for, like, one thing, there was some artificial slowing down that didn't need to be there. I also didn't really find the movie to be scary really at all. Like, I wasn't intimidated by these creature things. Like, I love the design. They look cool, but I just didn't feel any tension when they came on screen. Mostly because I knew what was coming. I don't personally consider this to be a spoiler, that there's some information that's revealed towards the end of the film, and M. Night Shyamalan is known for plot twists in his films, and that happens in this movie. However, the way it's presented, I can be okay with it, even if I wish that the way information was presented differently. Like, had that happened, I think it would have worked better. And also, the climax to the movie, because of the way things were presented in this cut of the movie that we got, it just felt pointless and didn't need to be there. And then there's some other things going on that I just felt could have been removed from the film entirely, and the movie would be no different, in my opinion. And also, actors like Sigourney Weaver and Brendan Gleeson, like, it's nice to see them and all, but they don't really have a lot of screen time, really. And I just feel as though they were underutilized, and I wish that the movie gave them something to do. But one thing that I do like about the movie is that in this village, no one is allowed to leave, basically. And the reason why is because these creatures come at night, and they establish all these different rules, and it's made pretty clear, and it's never confusing. And what I like about all this is that they don't beat you over the head to the point where it just becomes unbelievable. And these characters aren't like super unlikable to the point where you just want to see them die. But rather, it's done in a sense that's like, oh, this feels normal. It feels like it's coming from M. Night Shyamalan, like the way he writes his characters, or at least the way he used to write his characters. And the way that it's written feels complementary to the film that we got, is how I felt about it. And to talk about positives, and there was only like one moment where I was feeling kind of tense, and that was towards the end of the movie, where Bryce Dallas Howard is walking through the woods, and all we see are her feet, because her character is blind. And I thought that was really well done, and there's not a whole lot of wide shots in this movie. I don't feel as though that takes away from the film, because with Bryce Dallas Howard being our main character and her being blind, it kind of figures out a way to show off what she's seen, which is like nothing, in a way that's kind of interesting and also doesn't take away from the film. It doesn't like give her POV, but rather we get like low angles as she's like walking kind of towards the camera. It goes on for a while, the shot lingers on for a while, and all we see is like what's behind her and not in front of her. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And also we hear a little bit of narration, which is basically her thoughts, and she's just counting how many steps she's taking. And I thought that was clever and interesting. And that's about all I have to say about The Village. I didn't think it was a film that aged poorly, and this is a film that I can come back to and rewatch. There's enough about it that I like. There are more scenes in it that I like than I dislike. Although I do feel as though there were some missed opportunities in this film. Things could have been presented in a way that would have worked a lot better if it was just shown and presented differently. Or maybe if we got more romance scenes with our two main leads, that would have been nice. But all in all, I liked what we got by the end of the day. It didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth. I like it. I'll come back to it. Hopefully we get a physical media release that's an HD copy soon, because this is one of those movies that never made it to Blu-ray, and the highest quality you can get for this movie is a DVD when it comes to physical media release, and I just watch it on Amazon Prime. So, good movie. I would recommend it, and I can come back to this one. So with all that being said, I'm going to give The Village a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Village, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Transformers, directed by Michael Bay from 2007. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.